All right, periscope is good. Okay, I assume everything is going well. Hello, how are you? Thank you for waiting.
Oh, headphones.
Yeah, we just, I think we just sanitized those. We've got some wipes anyway. So thank you for waiting. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
So, yeah, what we do here is like to chat with people about whatever they want to talk about. Did you want to talk about one of those topics or something you want to bring up yourself?
Actually, I'm good on any one of those. Well, most of those anyway.
Good on any one of those? Which one do you have the most strong opinion about, one way or the other?
Well, I actually have a good opinion on the one that is religion in schools.
Religion in schools. That's an interesting one. All right. So let me make sure everything's good here. Do you mind if we record and stream and stuff? Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And what was your first name?
Devin.
Devin, D-E-V-I-N. Gotcha. My name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Yeah, you did. So cool. Do you come to this park area often?
Yeah, this is kind of one of our regular walks.
I love it here. This is the first time I've been here. Dahlia and I usually go out to various places in LA, but now we're visiting here for today. I'm loving it so far. So you wanted to talk about, should we teach religion in schools? Is that the question?
That was the question posed.
Want to talk about that?
So I guess to answer the question, you have to kind of define the purpose of the question to begin with. And there's two directions you can really take with that question. One being, should we teach religion in terms of, like, should we teach basic tenets of religion as breadth of knowledge base, or should we indoctrinate? So two different directions on the same question.
Yeah, religion seems too broad to really talk about. So you mentioned if we specify it to like teaching specific, tenets of a certain religion or something else. What are our options here for defining religion?
And we can take both directions. Actually, one of them pretty quickly, and then the other one a little less so.
Sure.
So my personal view is that in public schools, and I'm emphasizing the phrase public schools, as opposed to parochial specifically, there is a place for teaching religion in general in schools, and that place is social studies.
Social studies.
Now, there's the whole other debate of like, does this then infer or somehow impede on individual rights or what have you? I would say no, because in teaching history specifically and social sciences in general, when you're teaching concepts of history, it isn't just dates, times, places of dead people. It's motivations for actions and processes that develop and inform our life now. So how could you possibly know the motivations of the Crusades if you don't know the basic principles of Christianity and the basic principles of Islam? It's impossible. I mean, you could at least understand that, there was a conflict here, but you don't know what the conflict even was.
Right.
And you also wouldn't understand the beauty of things like the architecture we're sitting right here right now, is that a lot of this is Western European, more specifically Spanish based, and it has Moorish origins because of Arabic invasions of Iberia.
Oh, wow.
So layers and layers and layers and layers of things you just would not know about why a motivation occurred in a particular historical event, and considering how much difficulty in specifically European history is based on religion or secularism. I mean, the entire 100 Years' War, for example, is the difference between Protestantism and Catholicism. So how do you not understand that they fought a war for a century that tore an entire continent apart?
For this branch of the question, it's like keeping it into history, social studies, for that type of religion teaching in schools.
And even then, if you think about the basis of a lot of religions, like if you think about Genesis, for example, well, what is it? It's a creation myth. Well, we teach Native American creation myths in 4th grade as part of a history of local history. So the basics of how religious philosophy informs culture is important to still know, and I would argue that its place in school, even public school, is in a social science perspective.
Yeah, so I think the more interesting path for this question is like, severing off the science versus humanities version of this question.
Exactly.
Should any part of science be influenced by religion and start teaching religion in those types of areas?
That's where you start changing the question into a fundamental question of what is the basis of our society, and specifically American society, as opposed to any other country we're talking about. Are we in fact a secular society, or are we not?
Right.
And that's a whole other rabbit hole, but let's assume for a second that we are not a secular society, as some would assume. And then in that case, it still comes back to the basic premise of, okay, if we're not a secular society and we are a quote unquote specifically Christian society, so then what denomination is supreme here?
Yeah, which version of
exactly
Christianity are we talking about?
And that's when you still go down that same rabbit hole of, okay, now that we're defining, if we are not in fact a secular society, then what non-secular society are we?
Okay.
And that's a whole other long one.
That's a whole other long one.
But if we are a secular society, then that inherent separation where science teaches one thing, humanities may not necessarily disagree with it, but that difference is irrelevant because you're teaching philosophy and philosophical thought as opposed to a presentation of this is truth.
Right, right. So for the science portion of this, where's your current confidence that we should be teaching anything about from religion in the science courses? Like if all the way to the right is yes, we should, or all the way
Absolutely
to the left is
not.
no? Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right. So where is something where you would be a version of this question where it would be less certain one way or the other? Maybe you're more not sure.
I lean directly on, they do have a place, but the place is in the two separate disciplines.
More in the grand humanities.
More in the grand
Social
humanities.
studies, history, philosophy.
Exactly. Like creationism may have a place. I would say that that perspective is best served in the humanities as opposed to science, because science isn't trying to solve the conjecture of philosophical thought. It's trying to solve theory of empirical evidence.
So interesting way we could go down. Does theology belong into like secular public school philosophy departments? I guess that's the only thing I would wonder about.
In a K-12 setting, I'd say that'd be just a bit much.
Yeah, this would be like university public schools. Yeah.
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. I mean, I don't see why teaching theological philosophy shouldn't be in some way included or offered in some way. And speaking purely as someone who did in fact go to a humanities school and does have a degree in history, well, no, theology was very much a part of my collegiate education.
Okay.
Because you can't really talk about the Crusades without talking about theology.
Yeah, there's the split again of like the history of like these people believe this for these reasons and that causes actions.
Yeah.
Although our current understanding of the world and ethics, should they be influenced? Should that field of study be promoted and cultivated in our public universities?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
I don't see why not. If you distill every great religion down to its barest nubs, it comes back to the basic ethos of do no harm and don't be a dick. And so if you extrapolate anything else, then you're talking about differences of philosophical thought, and then introduction of deity and specific, ritualistic aspects of it. But the fundamental basis of all religious and I would even say ethical thought is the concept of basically do no harm.
Basically do no harm. Gotcha. All right. So what's your current confidence about the theology in public universities? If same scale, if all the way to the right is yes, all the way to the left is no. Same confidence, like absolutely yes, that we should have that?
I see no reason why it shouldn't be offered. Absolutely yes. Okay.
What hypothetically could we learn or find out, or what could happen to make us shift our confidence the other way even slightly? I don't just a hypothetical think about it.
Again, it comes back to the motives behind the presentation of the material. And it still comes back from a religious perspective is, are you educating from a philosophical perspective, or are you indoctrinating?
Yeah.
Is your goal to present as this is absolute truth and your grade depends on you becoming converted? Or does your grade depend on me giving you an explanation of what I'm presenting here and you regurgitating back in a test case?
Yeah, if we had these like certain set of schools where we had like a survey of people's religious beliefs at the beginning of the school, but then like after school or 5 years later, they're like all Christian. If that started happening at these set of schools, should that be any would that
again,
matter?
it's the inherent basis of why it's being presented. Now, if it follows that religious theology is taught in schools and people become converted, I don't see that as an inherent harm if that was ancillary to the fact that theology was presented.
Ancillary? What do you mean by that?
Goes along with where if that kind of conversion, like if what you're saying, if we're going with the hypothetical that all of a sudden we start seeing mass changes and upticks of students being influenced to join one particular denomination or whatever, if the intention was to present information and people take this into their own hearts and minds as you do in an educated setting and decide this applies to me, I want this, then there is no harm. If the intention in a public school setting at any level for that individual is to indoctrinate, I would actually say that would actually violate the principle of it being a public institution.
Public, therefore secular, therefore
exactly
not that type of thing.
And I wouldn't even go so far as to say public, therefore secular. Public, therefore, does not promote one specific.
Okay.
At least in terms of how it's defined in the First Amendment. That the United States government, the Constitution, individual states do not support or promote one specific faith.
Yeah. And secular is not like no religion, but like plurality of views.
Exactly.
Everything is on the table. Nothing specific exclusively.
Exactly.
All right. Any questions I could ask to make us think about more of this question?
Go right ahead.
What is a good question that we could ask of ourselves about this?
So I have an interesting relationship with this question in that I was a history major in college. My original intention was to go to law school and realized that was a horrible mistake. I'm an insurance broker, took a break for a while, went back to school to do a teaching credential, and I wanted to teach social studies. And I student taught in an area where there were certain elements of the population who specifically determined that they did not want any discussion of Islam to be presented to their children because they felt it violated their Christian beliefs. Now, in the curriculum, in both state standards and just the general curriculum, it's not promoting Islam, it's simply explaining this is why in Europe, we fought 1,000 years of warfare, almost 1,000 years of warfare, and we are still having issues with the Middle East, is because these are the differences between these two faiths that have similar origins. But it was perceived as though any discussion thereof would be considered indoctrination. The intent was not indoctrination. The intent was information.
Right. So that's the issue. It's like whenever we're trying to teach real history and like the real views of real people in the past, they had ideas, and this idea includes religions, and this needs to be known for people to grow up well educated.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I think I understand your position. I think we thought about things that anything that could possibly change our minds about it. We talked about potential schools indoctrinating people. I think that's one thing. Anything else about this?
I think it really just comes back to the whole concept of intent. And like what happens in a parochial school setting or a private school setting, these are not public institutions. In my view, it would be a shame if they did divorce that information from the curriculum just because of my own belief, but they're not a public school setting. So again, it's intention and the modality in which it's presented.
Gotcha. All right. Appreciate the conversation. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And we might be back here in a month or so. If you see us again for some reason, you can pick one of these puzzle pieces, squishy puzzle pieces, and if you see us again, you can get another color if you want, and complete the set with like multiple conversations about various things if you want to.
Why not? Just grab one.
Yeah, feel free to take a color, whichever one you like. That was good though. Thank you. And thanks again for waiting.
Thank you.
Sure.
If you ever want to have some fun, actually read the oath of office.
Okay. You want to be up? You go ahead.
Hi there.
Hey.
I'm Dolly.
Hey.
We are live streaming. Are you okay with being recorded and live streamed?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's your name? First name?
Is it okay if I don't?
It's okay if you don't. What may I refer to you as?
You can refer to me as M.
M. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Hi, M. Institute Epistemology. Oh, you were looking at the different questions. Did any of them sparkle for you?
Not so much.
Okay.
They all kind of seemed equal in a weird way, because like some, I will admit, I don't know as much about some as I do about others.
That's fine. Those are just suggestions. It's really completely wide open. Anything you want to bring. In straight epistemology, I want to ask you anything you think is true and real in the world. And then I want to ask you your reasons for thinking so and get all the way down to your authorities and things like that.
Yeah.
Epistemology, that's the part. Yeah.
Okay.
So anything that you think is true in the world.
Let me think. Sorry, it's difficult to think because like
Take all the time you like.
All right. I think that as long as something is not causing actual harm to multiple people,
Okay.
if you don't understand it, it's okay to not understand it. You just need to at least respect it or accept it.
If it's not causing harm to multiple people, you should respect it whether or not you understand it. Okay.
Because like it's things like how people like sexuality or like just identifying as something, like you can go ahead and do those things because it's not really harming anybody, and while somebody may not understand it, at least the least that they can do is just respect that you're doing that.
So two terms. One was respect. What does respect mean? What kind of behaviors do I need to do to qualify as respecting?
It depends on the situation. Like, say somebody wants to identify as, throwing this out there, like a demisexual or something. I don't fully understand demisexual, but I have a friend who is, and while I don't 100% understand it, I can recognize that they are demisexual, and I just say, okay, that is what you are, and I accept that you have your preferences, and I'm just not going to 100% like question you all the time about it. I'm not going to I'm not going to devalue who you think you are.
I'm thinking in musical terms, demisexual is a half of the libido. I don't think that's what they mean. Yeah, but whatever they mean. Yeah. All right. So so what can I do? What would be a behavior that I would do that would show that I was respecting somebody's? I guess we're talking about any sort of general thing, because this isn't just about sexual identities.
Yeah, or like respecting
much more general.
Yeah, like, and opinions too, where it's like somebody likes pineapple on pizza, somebody doesn't like pineapple on pizza. They're respecting it is not constantly like saying, well, I don't understand why you don't like it, like constantly bringing it up in a negative way, or like
badgering somebody would be a lack of respect.
Yeah, or just trying to argue with them about it.
Right. And maybe respecting would be giving them the option for their part of the pizza to have pineapple on it. Yeah. That'd be respectful without putting any on my part. Something like that. Would you agree that there is either an odd or even number of candies in the container? I have not opened it and counted them. I don't know how many are in.
So just guess. Or-
Is it true that the number of candies in here is either even or odd? Would that cover all the possible conditions?
It can be either or. So
It can be either or.
Yeah.
It's either odd or it's even.
Mhm.
It's not something else, or it's not either. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's just making sure that we're in the same reality. Some people have a very relative truth. It could be your truth that it's odd, or it could be some. But anyway, we're not going down that road. Good. Now you said harm multiple people. If it harms one person,
Mhm.
is it okay?
I wouldn't say so because it's still causing harm.
Okay,
But,
so it's
like-
not about the number of people it's causing harm to. It's harm.
It's just if it's causing harm in general. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's any harm being caused. Now, what if a person causes themselves harm?
Then I think it would still be an issue because, well, while you can't exactly control what they're doing, you can at least tell them maybe that's not the best idea. It's like with addiction or
Okay.
something where it's like you can't necessarily force them to stop because
Right.
they're really the only person in charge of their own change. So
Right. So how about risk of harm?
risk of harm.
Is there a risk of harm? You would say that's fine if the risk is small enough.
If the risk is really small, yeah, because it's like really small. But
Yeah.
if it was like more of like a prominent risk, like if somebody's like, I'm thinking about doing this really bad thing and I might do it at some point where
Yeah.
it's like that's a risk of harm. And while you could say that the person was joking or like there's no way that they could actually do it, it's still a risk.
Right.
So at least like say, hey, maybe that's not the best idea.
I do an action that is occasionally risky. I strap an air tank on my back and use a regulator, and I go down into the water.
Mhm.
And statistically, when I do that, I take 5 1/millionths chance on my life. That's about like smoking 3 cigarettes. Is that safe enough that the harm that could cause me is within my freedom of choice? Just it's okay.
It is in your freedom of choice because it's something that, well, like you would probably enjoy doing. So you're doing it, and while it is like a percentage of harm, and while it's doing that, the main issue is like, is that risk super high? Is it super low? How
Yeah.
much of a risk? What would happen if the risk happened? Like, there's so many things that play into it that it's hard to really.
Water in the lung, die. That's what the risk would be.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Or I have the bends so bad I just
percentage of
die.
harm.
That's
And while
that's
it's
what kills
doing that,
divers.
Um,
A lack of air
The
or
main-
coming up too fast. I suppose every once in a while one of them gets eaten by a fish, but I don't think that's very common in any case. So I got a confidence scale here. If all the way over here was I am absolutely sure that anything that doesn't have harm for people should be respected by everybody, and over here is I don't need to respect any particular of your views if I have any reason to not respect it. Where would you find yourself? And did I say those in a way that made sense?
Maybe say it again, because
Okay, this would be 100% toward your claim. This would be, my understanding is your claim is we should respect anything anybody wants to do so long as there's not harm to people, no harm to other people and only a minimum amount of risk to yourself.
Mhm.
And we should all respect and just take on anything as long as it passes the harm test. That would be this side. And then over here would be, no, I don't respect your right to have red hair or whatever. And what I say goes. I guess that would be the opposite side. Where would you find yourself on there?
I think I'd find myself probably on the side of confident
Okay.
of that, because it's just like
Do you have much of a sliver of doubt in there?
only the littlest bit, because
Okay.
I mean,
Sorry, backwards. Little sliver of doubt.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
I always doubt things, so I
Okay,
mean,
cool,
like,
cool. What led you to this conclusion? What reasons do you have to think that this is a correct strategy for the world?
because I feel like a lot of the main conflicts that are really huge nowadays rely on people who are not respecting each other and not understanding each other and choosing that because I don't understand you, I'm not going to respect your opinion. Or it's
Okay.
like people who are like, I don't really like getting political, but like, you know, like Republicans, Democrats,
Mhm.
whichever one you vote for, that's whatever one you vote for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It's what you're voting for. That's your opinion.
Mhm.
I can't touch that because it's yours.
Okay.
And I have to respect it no matter what it is. That matters for the people on the far left and the people on the far right, where whatever, just try to at least like respect each other. You don't have to agree. It's like agreeing to disagree. It's
I'm going to pick on flat earthers for a moment.
Mhm.
Should I respect their opinion?
I mean, yeah, they're not really doing anything bad. So just let them do their own thing, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So respecting their opinion doesn't mean I have to believe it or reinforce it or teach it to anybody or else. Am I respecting their opinion if I stand on the corner next to them and I say, they're wrong? If they say the earth is flat and I hold up a sign saying it's really round, is that respecting their opinion?
If it's right next to them and you're actively shoving it in their face, if that's what you're trying to do, then I think not. But if you're just there, like just saying your opinion, I don't think that it's necessarily like you're disrespecting them. You're just saying your own piece of the argument, but you're not actively like trying to like say no, shutting everything down. Where if that makes sense.
Yeah. Very good. I'm gonna shoot that messenger and drop that direct message and move on to hypotheticals. What could improve your confidence, get you closer, narrow that switch? This is something you don't already know, but you could learn tomorrow that would improve your confidence in your claim.
I think it would just be hearing more people, because the reason I have that little bit of doubt is because I don't want to believe in myself fully to that extent, because I know there's going to be someone out there with something that might be able to like change my mind and be able to switch me over. There might be somebody out there to like maybe put in a new angle to that argument or something like that. So I want to at least like give them a chance and don't want to like get so far over there that it's like I just won't listen to anybody, because then
by having that out where you mentioned harm, you completely ruined me being able to bring up Hitler. So
yeah,
good.
That's the big important part.
So the hypothetical going the other way, what could reduce your confidence?
Reducing it.
That respecting all ideas and positions that, or at least giving room for, is a good idea as long as they pass the harm test.
Once again, I guess it would be hearing more people and just seeing what they say and just hearing them out, and maybe once again, if they give another option to the argument, like they say something that like is actually a really good point and that I agree with, and I'm like, okay, then I guess I do disagree with my past argument a bit more.
I had a friend, we were talking about whether anti-trans bigotry was violence. And they said, these people are trying to take my rights away. That's violence against me. Basically referring to people who would vote against trans rights. And they thought it was, I'll say she thought it was violent. I don't think it was violent. Which side of the hurt thing would you call that?
Well, bigotry is something where it's like not many people really like it for a good reason, but with that whole situation, I think it's kind of a situation where it's not, they're just disagreeing with you, and granted it's a very unpopular opinion to like say trans people like shouldn't have rights or something like that. And I also,
in a narrow group, it's a very popular opinion.
In a narrow group, but in that situation, I think it's like if they're not actively like trying to like beat up trans people or like take away
Uh-huh.
their options to be trans, transition to the other gender, or express themselves, like gender expression. If they're not
Yeah.
actively trying to like take that away or like and go at them and stuff like that, if they're not doing that, then I don't think that that's really causing harm. I think that's just disagreeing.
Yeah.
And it's like the flat earthers, where it's like very rarely do people agree with them, but it's like,
Yeah.
they're not really doing anything. They're just being in their own little area, like saying whatever.
Okay. So,
And you can choose to ignore them. Like, you don't.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. So, during this process, I'm trying very hard not to argue from an alternate position and to hear you out completely. And thank you for this conversation. I really enjoyed it. I've learned a bit about your position. Do you think I've understood you fully?
I think so. I
Okay.
can't really tell, but
Well, I want to open this up. You can ask me any questions. I don't need to be. I don't mean to be opaque. I'm happy to share, and you can ask me questions and also ask me questions about what I understood. It's your time.
I guess a question that I would ask is there any like confusion with my argument that I presented?
I don't think I'm at all confused. I think I'm very clear, and I really like your harm standard. It goes with mine. I think I maybe have a higher risk tolerance for people who want to take heavy risks. I really want to let them, but I don't think I think that's a quibble that doesn't matter to what we're talking about, because it's still just themselves.
Yeah.
If you're pushing risk onto other people, no. Just no.
Yeah.
And as far as that goes, I'm really freedom of speech. I see a couple of nice exceptions to freedom of speech that I'm happy with, like falsely creating a panic, defamation, calls to violence.
Mhm.
I like those three, and I'm willing to talk about other ones, but it's going to be hard to convince me of a fourth. That kind of thing. I'm really pro free speech, and I think that's what you mean by respecting. Now, I might also wear a sandwich board next to a flat earther, or something. I might well protest Ken Ham's Arc Park, something like that. And I think it's respectful and engaging in an appropriate way. It's respecting the boundaries of peaceful civil conversation, but it's not respecting the Arc or Ken Ham or something like that. I'm just picking a name out of somewhere where I might be willing to protest.
Yeah. Yeah, because protesting, as long again with the violence thing, as long as it's not violent, it's completely fine.
Yeah.
You can do it. There you go. Like,
I'm very pacifist and very anti-war.
yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. I think I've just kind of learned over the years to just try my hardest to respect what other people think, mostly because of like the thing where it's like a lot of people I know, or more specifically my parents, both have very conflicting opinions about the world. And I kind of just learned by hearing from both of them, talking to me about them. I've just kind of learned that they can go ahead and just talk, think about it. That's what they can do, and I'm not going to change it. And they can't change each other's opinions. So. Yeah.
Well said. I'd like to offer you one of the puzzle pieces, these colored 3 puzzle pieces. It's an obvious bribe to get you to come back for further conversations. We're from Los Angeles, so we will probably be back in a month or so. And this is a great place to come out and see. So it would be something like that. So enjoy. I did wipe them down when I put them on the table, and you're welcome to have any one of them.
Just like pick them up and then that's it, or like.
Yeah, you can take one of the 3. There's 3 colors there.
I think I like the yellow one.
Okay,
Yeah. Do I just take it, or
it's
like?
yours.
Oh, nice.
It's yours. It's a squeezy, stressy thing.
Yeah, it is squishy.
Yeah, and the gear is sort of like in one sense, it's like critical thinking when your gears mesh, or if you've got cognitive dissonance, you've got your gears grinding.
Mhm.
That's the metaphor.
Yeah, this should be a nice reminder of like all coming here today.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
What my cats do.
Yes.
We're in the same household, so you don't have to wet down it.
She's here.
I'm just so used to it.
I know, it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're up. Yeah, I got it.
These.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So, what's your name?
I'm not going to give my name. I don't want my house to get burnt down.
Okay. What would you like us to call you?
You can.
M? Is M acceptable? Did you say M?
She should be N.
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 Okay. Is N acceptable?
N is absolutely, absolutely acceptable. Thank
Okay.
you.
I'm very sympathetic to you. If we have to refer to you, yeah. Okay.
That's all right.
Okay. I'm Alex.
Hi, Alex. Nice
Okay.
to meet you.
So
I saw you got to meet the child of my womb.
Okay.
Yes.
Your daughter.
Yes.
Just want to make sure that's what you meant. Okay. What would you like to talk about?
I don't know. What are you guys doing here?
Well, we like to ask people like what they hold strongly, and we like to explore the reasons why they believe it, what might make them more confident, what might make them less confident. that sort of
Okay.
thing. So is there anything that you really, really like a strong opinion you have about any?
I think I have strong opinions about most everything.
Awesome. So pick a subject and we'll find a strong opinion.
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on in the world. I mean, you want to talk about
Absolutely anything.
absolutely. I mean, I thought you were going to ask the questions.
I am.
frankly.
I'm asking you.
You're asking me what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about movies. You guys said you're from Los Angeles, right?
I am not from Los Angeles.
Okay.
They are.
They are.
So
Where are you?
I am from here.
You're from San
Yeah.
Diego. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me ask
I
you
am
some
the
questions.
only local.
You're the only local. Okay,
Yeah.
from where in San Diego are you from?
Okay. I mean, I'm living up. Well, maybe I won't say on camera.
Okay. Give me a general area, like North County, East County, City of, South County.
I'm living northern, but I'm not born and raised in San Diego.
You're not born and so where were you born and raised?
I'm from New York, upstate New York. So.
Upstate New York. Very interesting. And you ended up out here probably as a young adult?
Yeah.
Okay, so you came here as a young adult, presumably for either college or the military.
Presumably.
Yes. Okay, one of the
So-
other. We
so-
won't give you away too much. Okay.
Yeah. So what would you like to talk about?
Well, apparently I'm interviewing you at this point. I'm native from San Diego, and I said we would like to talk about movies.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what strongly held opinion do you have about movies?
I think I think a lot of movies are pretty brilliant.
Okay.
I think a lot of movies explore things that maybe we haven't thought about. I'm a big science fiction fan, so I like science fiction movies. I think sometimes they get a little political, some of these movies, and sometimes movies get hijacked and they don't like being hijacked, being used for political reasons.
The movies don't like being hijacked?
They don't like it. The people who created the
Oh,
movies
the people
don't
who
like
created
it.
movies, okay.
You know,
That
for
was-
example,
okay.
like The Matrix, you know. I don't know. You seem pretty young to me.
Okay.
Okay, comparatively speaking to some of us, right? Okay. And that movie, have you ever seen
I'm going to
that
take
movie?
that as a compliment.
Yeah,
So-
yeah,
Okay,
it's a
thank you.
compliment. Have you seen that? Have you seen that movie, The Matrix?
I have seen The Matrix.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So when, I'm not going to ask you when you saw it, but because probably by the time you saw it, it seemed a little bit trite or whatever. It's just all those cool little effects have already been explored, and so it kind of seems stupid. But at the time it came out, it was really fantastic. It was a great movie. Had a lot of things, a lot of provocative questions they asked, a lot of why are you here? How are you here? What are you doing? That sort of thing. And then now, like this year, a lot of people have referred back to The Matrix, talking about things that are happening politically. And some of the people who created that movie are not very happy with the fact that other people are using that movie to refer to their political stance.
Okay. Is that your claim? Are you saying that that's going on, or are you saying that the movies teach us things? Is that what you want to talk about?
I'm saying all of that.
Okay. So, let's talk about, I think, the broader claim, which is like movies teach us things. Okay. So you're saying that that the Matrix, this conflict of opinions about the Matrix, is that an example of movies teaching us things? Is that how we're approaching this?
No, I don't think that's an example of movies teaching us things. I think that's an example of the dialogue that's created after people take the movie and apply it to what's happening in their lives today.
Okay.
So people arguing about, I created this movie to represent this, and the recipient who has watched the movie says, I think it means this. That is a dialogue that those two people are having. So you can create something, you can bring it out into the world, and you can have an intent of saying, this is what I intended this to be. Okay. However, the person who is receiving that thing might not have the same idea.
Is there a fact of the matter about that? Like, is one of them more right, or about what the movie means?
They're both right.
They're both right.
You can think dialectically about this. They're both right. The person who created the movie had the intent that it would represent a certain thing. The person who received the movie, who watched it, and the consumer has an idea of what that movie means to them. They took what that movie was talking about, applied it to their life or what was happening in their life at the moment. Now it's going to mean something different to that person who received it. They're both correct. The person who created it had the intent that this is what it means to me, but the person receiving it has a different perspective on it. They're both correct.
Okay. So would you say, like,
So I think your question before was, it had to do with who is right. Okay. And is it right for the person who had a different perception of the movie to think the way they do? And they do. They can believe that. Okay. They can believe that. It's not insulting to the person who created the movie to say, hey, this is what it means. Okay. And it's the same thing. I'm not talking about movies, but I'm also talking about books. Okay. There's things you can read, and during one portion of your life, it might mean something. And then you read it again later on in life, it means something entirely different. And then you read it again later in life, and it has all new meaning for you. So like Anna Karenina it's a big book. It's a beefy book. Okay. It meant something to me once when I was a young adult and I had read it. It meant something different to me as a married person. And then it means something different to me now that I'm older. So the way I've received that book, the writer had an intent of how that book was going to go out, but I've received it, and actually I've received it differently during the different points of my life. And all of them are correct. I'm not saying that when I was younger and I read Anna Karenina and it meant this, that it's wrong, because now that I'm older, I know better and it's this. It's not.
One other thing I'd like to clarify are the things that this is not the case for, where if people have like two different opinions about what something is, that they're both right. Are there ever cases where that's not the case?
Are you saying about something that's factual as opposed to an opinion? Because okay, something that's factual as opposed to an opinion. Because you did say opinion. I just want to clarify, because I like to try and use precision in words. I'm not always very precise, though, just to say, but I have to clarify. So if somebody has an opinion on something, that's an opinion, right? But if we have a fact on something, yes, there are times when people will have a difference as to what they perceive the fact is.
Are they both right in that circumstance? Oh, I guess the sun's gone.
So I'm thinking, yeah, the sun is gone. So I am thinking about, are they both right?
Mhm.
So it depends on what your definition of right is.
Well, I
What
was thinking
what is correct.
in the same way as the movies we were talking about.
Oh, well, then I'm going to say they're both right because that's a matter of your perception of things. So, for example, like I can show you.
So, well, so we have a box of Tic Tacs here, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so the number of Tic Tacs in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that it can only be either even or odd?
Yes.
Okay. If somebody came up and said it's true in like my perspective that the number of Tic Tacs in
my
here
perspective that there are is it even or odd?
even
Damn it.
Okay.
could he have possibly been wrong about that?
Wait, so he's going around saying it's even and not that it's even and or odd or what?
He's saying it's definitely even.
They're definitely even. Okay, and he believes in his heart of hearts
Yeah.
that they are even.
Could he be incorrect? Is it possible?
Yeah, it could be totally incorrect.
Okay, so there are things where there's like a fact of the matter about them.
Well, yeah, because
Okay.
we have a precise definition as to what even and odd is.
Mhm.
That is pretty universally agreed, unless there is a sect of unusual, weird people that have come up with something that is not even or odd, and there's a third one that I don't know about. That one is easy. Even and odd, we can
Mhm.
universally agree that we have even and odd.
Mm.
Binary, zeros and ones.
So what would make these movies different from the Tic Tacs?
Because people don't agree as to what the facts are.
So all that's required to change something from a fact to an opinion for there to be disagreement?
I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to repeat back what I heard from you.
Okay. So I think what we're trying to find out is what our definition of fact is versus opinion. I mean, opinion, we kind of agree that there's enough muddy waters there that people can have different opinions, right? And fact is a different thing.
Okay.
Okay. So the problem is that right these days, people are saying some things are facts when maybe there isn't universal agreement as to that is an actual fact.
Hmm.
Okay. The Tic Tacs is easy because that's even and odd.
Mhm.
Okay. And I can tell you, like most people, I'd have to say almost everybody here in this park is going to agree and say, yeah, there is even and
You'd
odd.
be surprised. But
And I don't,
okay.
yeah, and I'd like to find out. Well, and I would be open to receiving a third option besides even and odd. Okay. Give me that, but I haven't ever heard of one.
Hmm.
Okay. So educate me if I'm wrong. But as far as I know, there's an even and an odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen
that
many
was-
different responses.
Okay, so
Yeah.
well, yeah, I'd love to talk to those people and find out what they think because really, I would like to know. But with other things, I don't think it's always agreed upon that something is an absolute fact.
Hmm.
So people will have a disagreement. Somebody will show me this card and they'll say, "Hey, give me that white card." And people will say that is not a white card, that's a blue card.
Hmm.
And then you can sit there and you can argue about it all day
Hmm.
long. Okay.
Is there a way to figure out?
I think the fact, when it's a fact, it's pretty much universally accepted that it's a fact. Everything else is like, it's a fact, but it's an arguable fact. It's a fact up for debate. It's a disputable fact.
Sorry. So is it just the existence of the debate? Like, for example, and I'm not saying these people are right, but there's a community of people that exist who claim that the Earth is flat.
Oh yeah,
Right. So there would be a debate about the shape of the Earth.
Right.
Does that mean that the shape of the Earth is not a fact?
I think they have an argument.
They have an argument. Do you
They have
agree
an
with them?
argument. I don't agree with them,
Okay.
but I like to hear their point of view because it's really interesting
Okay.
to see where they're coming from.
Okay. But are you saying then that it's not a fact that the Earth is some different shape from flat?
I think it's generally accepted that the world is round,
Mhm.
but there are people who are arguing that it is a disputable fact that it is actually a flat Earth.
Hmm.
I don't know much about it, so I can't really argue one way
Mhm.
or the other. I've known since I've grown up that the world is technically round. I mean, substantially so. Okay, but I've noticed that there are these people that are these flat Earth people, and they're really, really strong in their beliefs. Okay, I mean, but I haven't really dived into it, so I really don't know what they're talking about. But the fact that there's so many of them arguing about it, it makes me wonder what they're saying, and I'm open to it. Maybe the world is flat.
Okay. If somebody said, it's my sort of contention that there's like a fact of the matter about movies, right? Does me disputing that with you make it no longer a fact of the matter about the way movies are?
Possibly, it depends.
And with the Tic Tacs, if I argue, if him arguing that there is they're an even, and somebody else comes along and says no, there's definitely an odd number of Tic Tacs. Is there a fact of the matter about the number of Tic Tacs in the box?
So you're saying, so I think maybe I misunderstood what you were saying about even and odd. Okay, because I thought you were saying if there was an even or odd number of Tic Tacs in there.
Well, I was asking that originally.
Okay, so then you're saying that somebody now is coming along and saying an even number of Tic Tacs, and somebody else is arguing and saying an odd number of Tic Tacs.
Right, but before we had said that there is either an even or odd.
Yes, correct.
Right, but does two people arguing about it make it no longer a fact that one of those is definitely true and the other is definitely false?
No.
Okay. So there is still a fact of the matter even when people have a disagreement?
It depends.
It depends.
As far as the Tic Tacs are concerned, yes.
Okay.
Because it is pretty much universally accepted that we have even and odd numbers.
Right.
But you guys got to bring me the third one if there is the third one.
Right.
As far as what I understand there to be true, we have even and odd, and I don't have anything in between. So as far as the Tic Tacs go, yeah.
But in that case, would there be would that be an example of a case where there was like a disagreement, but there was still a fact of the matter, even if there was people arguing on both sides?
As in the case of the Tic Tacs, there are two people arguing about the fact of the matter. If the Tic Tacs are not open and we do not know if there are even and odds, they can argue that fact. It is a disputed fact until somebody actually opens up the Tic Tacs and counts those fucking little things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But let's say we counted them, right? We did that.
Okay.
And somebody said, no, I don't care what the count was. It's definitely let's say there was 60 and they said, no, it was definitely odd.
Okay.
Does that dispute change anything about is it, have we established that the Tic Tacs were in fact even by counting them?
Yeah.
Or is this person's just constant insistence, does that change things from being a fact to this movie case?
No. So some people know for a fact that what they are arguing is wrong. Okay? That it is incorrect, that it is factually, generally accepted. No, that is not correct. And they will still argue that they are right.
Okay. Well, I think I enjoyed this conversation.
I think I enjoyed it too. This was a good one.
So, yeah. We have puzzle pieces.
Okay.
You are free to take any one of them. And I guess they're saying they might come back in a month.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not from LA, so
okay.
But so if you come back when they're back, you can get more puzzle pieces and you can complete the set.
Okay.
So it's like a bribe to come back.
I think I'm good without the puzzle pieces.
That's fine.
But,
and then there's also business cards. You can take one.
I'll take the business. I already pawed this one and got all of my COVIDness over it, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it.
Wonderful.
What? I don't know. COVIDies.
Is there anything you'd like to ask me? Now you can interview.
Now I can interview. No, because I think I'm not going to get a straight answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'd be happy to give you a straight answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I already tried interviewing you, and you got pretty squirmy. And I'm
really squirmy about my personal details.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to give you direct answers about the subject we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, maybe another time.
Okay. No problem.
I'll come back when you guys, if you guys are here and I see you, then I'll interview you next.
All right. No problem.
And I'll have a good set of questions for you. What?
Thank you for the feedback.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Thanks. All right. Thanks, guys.
How do I turn this back?
Would you like to be interviewed?
There it is.
Out of cards.
Out of cards. Yes, FK. Yes, FK. Yes? Yes. Yes. Excellent.
Oh, and I touched zip text again.
It's okay.
GoPro's been going for like 3 hours. This needs to be refreshed.
What's the question?
Does this need to be refreshed?
Apparently, I'm going to do that. Oftentimes, it'll still be sending the. It'll be still sending the video fine while it's not refreshed on this side. It's good to me. I kind of like this back over the shoulder view. As long as we don't mix it with other cameras.
All right.
Oh, totally.
Feel free to sit down. Want to do headphones? Yeah. Check, check. Hello. Is this my headphone volume? Where's my headphone volume? There it is, farthest. Okay. How's your headphone volume?
Mine's pretty good.
Okay. Just gotta speak as close as you can into the mic there. Perfect. And so, all right. So my name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
What's your first name?
Giselle.
Giselle.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Giselle.
Gotcha. All right. Do you come to the park often?
No, my family just moved to California, so.
Your family just moved to California. Wow.
Yes.
Where'd you moving from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. All right. Big change.
Yeah.
How you like it so far?
It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Delly and I are from Los Angeles. We just came down here to visit our friend Alex to help practice this thing called street epistemology, where it's a conversational method, a way of having a conversation to talk with people about whatever they believe and why. Let someone pick a claim, something they think is true, and then someone else asks questions to help them understand and help the other person take a second look at how they came to believe whatever they believe and why.
Okay.
Which one of the topics would you like to talk about?
I did the police defunding one.
Should the police be defunded?
Yes.
Okay, we can talk about that. So I think, what do you mean by police and defund? What do these words mean? How should we best define them for this question?
For defunding, I believe it as not getting rid of the police, but more of the redistribution of how I guess our government is spending, or like how much money is going towards police, because like recent events with like racial inequality and stuff like that's happened.
So should we change the distribution of funds for the police?
Yes.
That's really the question we're trying to ask here.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we do that? If all the way to the right is absolutely yes, we should, or all the way to the left, white is absolutely no, we should not do that, or not sure, where would your current confidence be about that?
I'd put like 3/4 to the right. I think we should.
You have a little confidence scale there.
Oh, should I hold it up?
Sure.
Okay, I'd put like probably right here because I
Alright.
think I need more education on the topic, but I think that it should be redistributed.
Cool. Yeah, what gets you to that level of confidence? What are the main reasons why?
I think with recent events that have happened, that have been happening, and that I've kind of been mainly seen now in 2020 with everything going on, I think that there's been a lot of police brutality and things that obviously need change. And I think that the system that we have right now is currently kind of corrupt, and I feel like we could redistribute our money better to help.
So what I mean to say is there's an issue with police brutality,
Yes.
and our current system of policing is corrupt, and we
Yes.
need to change that by changing the way we distribute resources to them.
Yes.
Okay. What are the main reasons why we think this system is corrupt? Why do we believe that?
I think that, well, obviously, main reason is because of, I guess, kind of the events and how, specifically with the George Floyd thing that happened in, I think that was March. I'm not too sure, but I think it was March. But everything that happened with George Floyd, how the police officer that kind of, went too far, how he kind of got off, and how then all the protests started happening and the riots and things like that. I think it was just like really kind of a wake-up call for America, I guess, depending on how people take it, that we definitely need to redistribute money and kind of everything that's been happening. I feel like there's been like a lot of mentally ill people who have been had the cops called on that were people of color, and that things just kind of went out of proportion because of police brutality, where there should have been a more kind of like calm down, I guess, before the situations just kind of escalated, and lots of people lost their life because of police brutality and just not the situation not being handled. I also think that cops and stuff need more time, more training, I guess. I think I read something where like a barber, hairdressers, like they have to do more training than police officers do in America. So
Well, like the number of hours they need to
Yes.
go through in order to get to like a license.
Yeah.
Versus like a police badge.
Mhm.
Okay. So those are examples of how the system might be corrupt.
Yeah.
Seeing how some police officer did a police brutality type of situation, and he so far has not been prosecuted to as much as we would like to see.
Yes.
And all right, so you're currently about 3/4 of the way through. What could raise your confidence? What could make you even be more sure about this that you don't know about today that you could learn about in the future?
I think just kind of more education, I guess, on how, I guess, more ways that money could be redistributed, because I know that an example someone brought up was just like kind of having like mental health people be the first people to, I guess, de-escalate some situations. So I guess if I learned more about that, and if I started to agree with that, and it seemed like, reasonable and that it could work, then I think 100% yes. But I think already I'm pretty much there at the yes, we need to like defund and redistribute money.
Okay. If you learn more about the process, like
Yes.
with, police, what's the right term? It's like de-escalation processes,
Mhm.
maybe with the mentally ill, if you learned the police could do much better with different funds,
Yeah.
with that type of situation,
Yeah.
then that could raise your confidence?
Yeah.
Okay, what could even slightly lower your confidence about it? What would need to be true? What would you need to find out or learn to
I
slightly
think
lower?
probably only if like, I guess I believed more that we're doing the right thing and that police need to be on scene first. I don't know. I don't think that there's much that could lower my confidence, because I think that knowing that a hairdresser or barber has more training than a police officer is pretty scary in America right now. So I think there isn't much that could kind of lower my confidence.
There's not much.
No.
Feel free to imagine even wildly implausible things that could happen. Like what if?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just feel free to imagine anything you'd
Mhm.
like. Is as wildly implausible as you need to make it to
Mhm.
make it even slightly less confident.
Okay.
What would be an example of something we could learn?
I think if redistribution of money went wrong, I guess I could see like how maybe someone who was on the scene first, a situation where they needed police officers to be there,
Okay.
where it goes too far.
Cool. Gotcha. Any other ways to test this idea about police redistribution of funds? You mentioned we could put it in and things would go wrong. Any other ways to test this claim that we should be doing this?
For pro or con?
Any way to tell if we should go higher or lower? Or
I think over time, maybe, just kind of with events happening, if more of those continue to happen, I think that's definitely like a yes, this should happen. But,
if we continue to see the same examples of police
Yes.
brutality, more videos,
yeah,
then we start need to doing something.
yes.
And if we saw like no more videos in the next like 5 years, would that cause any reason to be less confident?
I think it might, but I can't see us going like progressing, I guess, kind of to like, oh, no police brutality, because I think this has been happening for a while, and I kind of wonder how many have happened now, like off video, I guess.
Yeah. What do we know the statistics on the prevalence of police brutality? Like this year, last 10 years, last 50 years?
Not
What's
off
the
the top of
trend?
my head, but if I were to guess, I would say it's definitely going up.
It's going up in the past like 10 years or 5 years.
Yeah, I'd say 10 years. It's going up.
And compared to like 30 years, still going up compared to then, or same or less?
I think definitely 30 years ago, I'm sure it was rougher than it is now. It might be rougher now, but I mean that probably 30 years ago, a lot of police brutality actions weren't recorded, versus now we have like technology and stuff, and I think a lot of things are starting to show, I guess.
Okay, that's cool. And any good way to figure out this data? What's the best example of figuring out this data? What's the best resource for figuring out this
Any
information?
Any trustworthy sources? Anything reliable?
What's the best example, you think?
I think just kind of footage is the best at this point.
Footage
Yeah,
to test the rate of police brutality,
yeah.
like the number of videos per year of it happening.
Sure. Yeah, anything.
Gotcha. And that's the best way to figure out the rate of it. So if it's a problem, if the rate is high, it's a problem, we need to fix it. That's one way to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the conversation. Any questions for me? How was it for you?
It's pretty good. No questions.
Love it. We also like to give one of these little colored puzzle pieces. If you'd like to take one, it's squishy.
Oh.
And if you see us again, you can come back and get another piece and do another conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Appreciate it. Good job. Did you get my card? Yeah, over there. It'll be on my social media. I can make a Twitch clip of it, and it'll be on my Twitter or Facebook or whichever. Yeah. All right, we got another 25 minutes here. How was that chat? We have an opera singer. Oh, she got wheeled in? Did she get cranked up? Okay. Wow.
Leave it at that. It's a good app.
Sure. The magnet on my other confidence scale is not sticking. I need to make a new one anyway. Who's next?
We're gonna go.
Saying only one more? if okay. Discord says if we're doing it in the park, isn't it park epistemology? It said if we're doing it in the park, isn't it park epistemology?
Yes.
I don't know where the roll of tape is either, I'm afraid. It was somewhere. You definitely had one. I mean, you guys. Oh.
Yes.
This dog's like really into, and this dog's
I agree. Everybody should be wearing masks.
not as tight as it is.
It's a bit of a cost of effectiveness.
They said that the ultra wide, I think, was working fine now, and so you could do a weather report.
What's happening?
The battery is dead.
Testing. Okay. Weather report. It's 77. Feels good. Got another 20 minutes of her. Hello, 4 people from Twitch, 2 people from YouTube. Massive numbers. We are out here in San Diego, Balboa Park. All the museums are closed, so everybody's out here on the parkway. I'll go stand over here. Thank you. Anybody have time for an interview? Hello.
Oh, you guys, I mean, interest, right? Like, you guys have that interest curve down because people are starting to pass by again because they were going in there. Well, it's, I mean, I'm the one who's, Sunday's like the only day that works for me. They want you to read the claims on the boards one by one to the people around to see if they can just track them. I don't know. This is what they're saying. That's hard. There appears to be nothing in the Discord. Oh, I see. This is the picture.
To anyone that is wondering what makes that singing voice, this is it. It.
Yes, it is.
Just to give some context to our viewers online.
Mask? We have masks if you need one. You guys have them. We have.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Brittany.
Hello, Brittany. I'm Alex. So what
Alan?
would you Alex.
Alex. That's my brother's name. Nice
It's a
to
good
meet
name.
you, Alex.
What would you like to talk about? You can pick anything at all. Any opinion that you really feel strongly about.
Honestly, I think the one question that stood out to me the most was why religion is not taught in public schools.
Okay. Do you have an opinion on that?
Um.
Oh yes. I'm sorry. There's headphones in front of you on the
Oh,
mic. You can.
okay.
I keep forgetting that.
Cool.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. There's some people. By the way, I should ask you permission. This is being broadcast live to the internet. Are you okay with being recorded?
Definitely.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. All right. So, what opinion do you have on religion in public school?
I think religion is a big factor of where someone comes from, especially in children.
Mm-hmm.
It creates a broad foundation. Children who are brought in families who have strong religion factors have a very constructive point of view.
You can move a little bit farther from the mic.
They think in a specific manner versus people who are honestly, I think religion also comes from a perspective of ethnicity. Where you come from takes
Okay.
a big factor in religion. And
Religion is related to where you come from? Sorry. Feel free to.
yeah, definitely.
Do you want
It's okay.
All
It's
right.
fine. Religion definitely takes an impact of where you come from. Whether you come from the United States or China or the Middle East or Australia or the Netherlands or Europe, we all come from different backgrounds. Those backgrounds definitely affect the way we think, the way we run, the way we process information. But it's almost like a collective. It's a group, right? Whether you come from the Middle East or the United States, you have different religions, you have different backgrounds, you have different mindsets, you have different beliefs. But we all come from a collective. We all think similarly. Even though there are different traits, different point of views, different ideas of one situation, it all comes together. That's why I think that we, as an individual, we're having a hard time through these times, through these eras, through this pandemic. We're having a challenging situation. There's a lot of different ideas, different knowledge, different perspectives of one situation that's happening. And as a global connection, we all come together at the end of the day, and we all think, how are we going to support our community? How are we going to support our people? How are we going to support our land, our home, our family type deal? And we all come into this pile of not understanding each other, where we're coming from, but yet we're all in the same group. And it's very challenging when it comes to religion in schools, because we have this idea of being a certain way, of thinking a certain manner, of having a certain outcome, of having a certain perspective, of wanting a certain idea. But yet, we come to an end of we strive for a certain idea, and we get as close as we can to that certain idea. And the community is evolving to be more liberal, more open, more loving, more intuitive, right? So we're trying to manifest in that direction. But yet there's these groups of people that are so conservative, so locked into these religions, into these ideas, into these perspectives of, I have to have this thing this certain way. I have to have this marriage in this certain manner. I had to have this relationship and this certain.
So, you're saying that there's a conflict between people who have like more conservative views and people who are trying to, you said, manifest a new intuitive way of approaching society, I think. Is that what you're trying to express?
I think that it comes within the individual. I think that it comes within wanting to expand, wanting the expansion of the newness to come into their life because we evolve. You know, each decade we transition. Each decade we evolve. It's never the same.
Each decade we have. What can you explain what you mean by each decade we transition?
So every 10 years is not the same as the past 10 years.
Okay.
It's similar, definitely, for sure.
Is this something that, are you saying that an event happens every 10 years, or are you just saying like things change over time?
Things change over time.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Definitely. I think that media takes a large part of it. I think it really deters from I think media deters on how we truly feel.
Media. Can you explain that more?
So media is propaganda. Media has a large propaganda side. Media can put out anything they want, basically, and it'll try to manipulate the society to believe in what they put out, and whether if it's good or bad. And media doesn't know if it's good or bad. Media is just trying to sell what they want to sell, basically. And so people go in that direction. They don't have the logic of understanding what they want and what they don't want, because media puts out these images of what people want, quotation marks type deal, because media puts out these images of beauty and sufficiency and fulfillment and logic and love and abundancy. But people see those images and they feel this immediate chemical reaction of like, hey, that's me. That's what I want. That's what I want to achieve. But yet people are in this fundamental cage of not being able to achieve that because that's not really realistic type deal.
So you're saying like media can influence people?
Oh yeah, definitely. For sure. That's what it's for. It's propaganda. It's always been propaganda. From before Christ. You know, before Christ. There's been wars, there's been tragedies that have been propagandized, that have been blown up in hyperbole, basically, saying that this many people died, this is what happened, when it truly hasn't happened. It happened very differently, very far from what has had been said type deal.
What would be an example of that happening, like, say, in the past?
So so like in a Greek war, let's say that there was a war that there was a war between the Greeks and the Romans, and 100 people died. But propaganda, the word spread that 300 people died. There was 500 people who got sick. There was children at deathbeds. There was women who had been plagued with the Black Plague or whatever had been said, but it wasn't true. Basically, when people state a certain situation, it's a memory. It's a memory of what we had thought of the occurrence. And usually about 80% of memories are true, but not 100%. It's our perception. It's what we took in of the situation. It's what we believed of the situation. It's our thoughts of the situation, which isn't 100% truth. And that's where propaganda starts, you know? There's a lot of infatuation within wars, within families, within relationships, within communities, within the world, really. And people really ride with that. They strive with that. They believe that. And it's not necessarily what is true. It's just their infatuation. It's their perception, you know? It's their belief. A belief is a belief.
A belief is a belief.
Right, definitely. It's a perception of one's understanding. It's not necessarily the truth. There's a truth between honesty and belief. You know, in a relationship, someone can tell you something, and you could interpret it in one way, and the other person could interpret it in another way, you know? And so it's a miscommunication, but it's all one scenario, you know? One scenario can be interpreted in many different ways.
Can I ask a question about this box of Tic Tacs?
Sure.
So would you say that like there's like a fact of the matter about that it's true that it's either the case that inside of this box of Tic Tacs it's either an even or odd number of Tic Tacs? Like it's true that one of those is right.
Well, yeah, because it's actuality. It's sitting in front of me.
Okay, so
I see it with my own eyes.
Okay, so
it's not a belief.
If you couldn't see it, would that still be the case? Just
no.
No?
Because I would be leaning on your word, and versus of seeing it with my own eyes.
But even if like if I do this, does that change the number of Tic Tacs that are inside of the box?
No.
Okay. So if somebody said like it's definitely 100% for sure that there's like an even number of Tic Tacs in that box, could they be wrong about that?
They could be wrong about it.
Okay.
But personally, in my view, in my perspective, I would trust you and believe that there's 100 Tic Tacs in that box because I want to work. I want to move forward. I want to get to the next objective, if that makes sense.
Oh, what would be the next objective? I'm not sure.
So, and every day we have tasks, right? We have goals in our everyday society, whether if it's spiritual, if it's individual, if it's community-wise, we have these goals, right? If you lost your ID, you need to go get a new one. That would be one goal of the week, right? If you need to go pay your phone bill, that would be another goal. If you need to go get an alignment, you know, for your car, that would be another goal type deal. And so I want to move to the next objective. And so if you if I need to know that there's 100 tacks in your box to move to the next objective, I'm going to trust you because I want to move to the next thing. I want to progress. I want to grow. I want to expand. I want to move forward type deal, if that makes sense.
I mean, I appreciate that you find me trustworthy. So
Because
my
I
question
find you as a work partner.
Hmm?
I find you as a work partner.
You find me as a work partner?
If you were to tell me there's 100 tic-tacs in your box and I need to move to the next objective, then I would look at you as a work partner. I would trust you as a work partner.
What does it mean for somebody to be a work partner? That's a new term for me.
Someone that I depend on to get the work done or to get the job done.
Okay.
If there's somebody that needs to know how many tic-tacs are in that box and you tell me that there's 100 tic-tacs in that box, then I will move forward.
I see. So you're saying like we should trust people who have studied these things and
It's a paradigm.
Okay. Sure. So but there is an but we would agree that there's an actual like fact of the matter about like there being either an even or odd number, and like even if somebody was very insistent that there's like an even number, they could be wrong. Like
Even in odd numbers is a justification.
It's a justification.
It's a justification because a number is a number, whether if it's even or odd. You're just asking me if the number is even or odd. It's a number, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's 15 or 20 or 100, it's a number. You're just asking me if I think if it's even or odd.
I'm not asking you if you think it's even or odd. I'm just trying to establish like what we think about facts, or if there is a fact of the matter about, say, the number, like because some people would say things like that it's all, there's no actual fact of the matter or something like that, and so like that's what I'm trying to see if that's where we're at or not.
Okay, definitely. Facts are facts. You got to be truthful to yourself. You got to be honest.
But if somebody said it's my truth that there are an even number of Tic Tacs, would that be could that be a false thing? Like even if they said that?
No, not at all, because it's just a classification of a number. A number is a number at the end of the day, whether if it's even or odd.
Yeah. So like, but if somebody
if my business depended on it, type deal.
Sure. If your business depended on knowing the correct number of Tic Tacs, would somebody's just strong belief that it's even if you guys counted it and there was like 55 Tic Tacs?
Well, that would be a gamble.
That would be a gamble? In what way would it be a gamble?
Because I'm depending my business on this one number. If it's even or odd, that's a gamble.
I'm saying you guys counted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you guys counted and there's 55, but somebody came along and said, it's really deeply held true for me that there are an even number of Tic Tacs.
If it was odd?
Well, you guys counted there's 55. Does that mean it's odd?
I would count them in front of them.
Okay. And you're saying that would like establish that they were incorrect?
Yeah, because not necessarily that they're incorrect, but I want them to know that there's 55 tacks in the box for their own sake, for their own security, for their own sanity, so they can move forward, just like how I want to move forward.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I think this was interesting, so thank you.
Thank you.
There are puzzle pieces there. You're free to take any one of the colors, and it's like a bribe. The next time we're here, you can come by and maybe get another one, and you can collect the set.
Thank you so
there
much.
are there. Oh, where are the business cards? Have they vanished? Well,
Sorry.
Oh, we're out of business cards.
Okay.
So, but they're feel free to take a puzzle piece.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
It's okay. I have to go to the bathroom.
Yes. Two more. Now, half of them. That's okay. We're almost done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So will you be ordering business cards? I'm going to be ordering business cards. And I like the house shade here, so I want to know like
So,
yeah. You're wrapped.
all
right. I'll do an outro.
okay. Well, I should break things down.
Okay. All right. And we're putting away, so we can wipe and put away. Okay. I will take down these two, and you may do anything you want to over there. Okay. Hey, everybody. This has been a fun day, and it's over. Okay, it's just over. It's over. Get over it. It's over.
Turn out
This
the
is
lights.
Cordial
The
Curiosity's
party's
channel.
over.
Let's read. Party is freaking over. It's okay. Anyway, this is Reed. He's Cordial Curiosity, as you see on the screen. You couldn't see Reed walking behind me. I'm pointing. This is no help. It's been a long day. It's good. This is Reed, Cordial Curiosity. You should know about him. Here are 5 of my favorite SE-related YouTube channels. That's part of a list of about 15 that are found on my YouTube page. If you are really into this method of street epistemology, I suggest going to streetepistemology.com, which is brought to you by Street Epistemology International, who's actually given a grant to this show to help with the audio equipment. And that's a big help and operational expenses. Anyway, they also produce the SE podcast, where if you like your SE stuck in an audio form directly in your ear. Thank you for coming to this vanilla street epistemology. Just today it was in the park in San Diego at El Prado. And we will be back on Tuesday, I expect, from Echo Park. If you would like to be... Oh, sound pad not working. Interesting. Okay, if you would like to be... That's weird. I'll fix that later. If you would like to be a guest on my show, all I ask is that you be articulate, polite, show your face, and be on a topic about or doing SE. If so, I'd really look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Streaming off. And maybe there's going to be more than one off-stream moment. Good.